Recently, Ukrainian forces successfully eliminated 4 Russian Pantsir-S1 air defense systems using the Darts 429 loitering munitions. The strikes were carried out by the Achilles unit as part of the 92nd Assault Brigade in Kharkiv/Belgorod region. One of the destroyed Pantsir-S1 systems had been previously identified on the front line approximately 6 months earlier. Notably, it featured additional rubber screen armor, a modification likely intended to enhance its survivability. However, this adaptation proved ineffective against Ukrainian precision strikes. The elimination of these advanced air defense assets further weakens Russia's ability to counter Ukraine's growing arsenal of long-range drones and loitering munitions. The Darts 429 loitering munition continues to demonstrate its effectiveness in neutralizing high-value targets, underscoring the increasing role of drone warfare in modern combat. Ukraine has previously destroyed a large number of Russian Pantsir-S1 air defense systems, making Russia more vulnerable and defenseless to Ukrainian drone attacks. The Pantsir-S1 anti-aircraft system, introduced into the Russian armed forces in 2012, represent Russia's latest innovation for combating drones, cruise missiles and helicopters, taking over from the costly 2K-22 Tunguska systems. Interestingly, the Pantsir-S1 system, a Russian export success of the last decade, would not have been developed without the financial backing from Arab investors in the 1990s. At the same time, the United Arab Emirates (UAE) was in search of an artillery missile system and agreed to fund Russian development efforts, receiving the first Pantsir-S1 systems mounted on German trucks in the early 2000s. The Pantsir-S1 is equipped with 2 radars, one for target detection and another for weapon guidance. It includes 2 2A38M automatic cannons with a caliber of 22 mm, each capable of firing up to 2,500 rounds per minute, alongside anti-aircraft missile launchers. The gun component of the system offers a diverse range of ammunition and enables targeting at distances up to 4 kilometers at very low cost, which is crucial in counteracting Ukrainian corn bombers or other drones. The missile section contains 12 missiles arranged in groups of 6, allowing for engagement of several targets at once. According to the Russians, the command-guided missiles can target distances up to 20 kilometers and altitudes up to 15 kilometers. This system is not a fire-and-forget type, as operators must continually guide the missiles until impact. Furthermore, compared to modern systems like Skynex, the Russian system does not employ programmable ammunition. Additionally, there are recordings demonstrating that the Pantsir-S1 may struggle to intercept modern stealth technology, cruise missiles such as Storm Shadow, or small drones like the Polish Warmate or even DIY FPV types. Russian officials are increasingly spreading disinformation narratives that are similar in many ways to those Moscow used to justify its invasion of Ukraine. This could indicate Russian plans to increase its military presence on NATO's eastern flank, according to analysts at the Institute for the Study of War, ISW. It is noted that Russia is likely to expand its permanent military base in Belarus. Thus, the occupiers want to strengthen their military presence on NATO's eastern flank in order to exert greater pressure on Finland and the Baltic states. Analysts have noted that Kremlin officials have begun to spread disinformation narratives against NATO countries more often. For example, Russian Security Council Secretary Nikolai Patrushev told Russian journalists that the alliance uses threats as the main instrument in interstate relations. According to him, NATO's European wing continues its policy of blocking Russia in the Baltic region. Patrushev also stated that Great Britain is allegedly directing the escalation of the situation on the part of NATO in order to disrupt negotiations to end the war with Ukraine. In addition, he believes that the alliance is trying to prevent Russia and the United States from normalizing bilateral relations. According to the Secretary of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, the Finnish population, unlike the Finnish authorities, is allegedly friendly towards Russia. Russian officials spread similar narratives shortly before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. ISW also believes that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has indirectly rejected the temporary ceasefire proposal agreed upon by Ukraine and the United States during their meeting in Saudi Arabia. Instead, he has offered an alternative that is at odds with US President Donald Trump's plan. Analysts have assured that the ceasefire proposed by Putin will give the Kremlin a significant advantage and create conditions for the resumption of hostilities on terms favorable to Russia. The Russian dictator is effectively holding the initiative for a ceasefire in hostages, trying to obtain preventive concessions before official negotiations to end the war. The report also says that Russian occupiers continue to push Ukrainian forces out of Sudza and the city's outskirts. At the same time, the Russians' advance toward the border in the Kursk region has slowed compared to recent days. In addition, the Ukrainian Defense Forces advanced near Pokrovsk, ISW shared. At the same time, Russian troops advanced in the Sumy region as well as near Liman, Seversk and Toretsk. Russian forces attacking Ukrainian positions near Seversk suffered devastating losses on or before the 12th of March 2025, with fewer than half of their vehicles returning from the assault, Forbes says. As Russia wins the Battle of Kursk, with Ukrainian forces retreating back to Ukraine from this Russian region, elsewhere along the 1,000-plus kilometer front line, Russian offensives have stalled or even reversed, facing Ukrainian counterattacks. The Luhansk Operational Tactical Group reports that on or before the 11th of March, at least 41 Russian vehicles, likely from the 3rd Army Corps, attacked positions held by Ukrainian 30th and 54th Mechanized Brigades and 81st Air Mobile Brigade east of Seversk, along the border between Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts. Ukrainian defenders used mines, drones, and artillery to repel the assault, with only 18 vehicles returning to Russian lines, many of them damaged. The attack reportedly resulted in 159 Russians killed or wounded. The defeat highlights a broader pattern across the Eastern Front, where Russian offensives have stalled or reversed despite recent success in Kursk Oblast. Year-long Russian offensives around Chasiv Yar, Toretsk and Pokrovsk have all lost momentum as Russian losses exceeded the Kremlin's capacity to generate fresh troops and vehicles, Forbes reports. Ukrainian forces are now counter-attacking in all three sectors, regaining territory that cost Russia tens of thousands of troops and thousands of vehicles. 7 months after Ukrainian forces crossed into Russia's Kursk Oblast, creating a significant salient in western Russia, Ukrainian troops have withdrawn back across the border. However, Forbes notes this retreat should not be interpreted as a sign of Ukrainian weakness elsewhere on the front of Russia's 37-month full-scale invasion. Military analysts suggest Russia concentrated its elite forces in Kursk, particularly the Rubicon Center of Advanced Unmanned Systems drone group. According to Forbes, Rubicon's attacks on Ukrainian supply lines in Kursk, starting on the 25th of February, ultimately catalyzed the Ukrainian withdrawal. The concentration of forces in Kursk may have depleted Russian field armies farther south and afforded Ukrainian brigades the chance to reverse some Russian gains, Forbes says. With operations in Kursk concluded, Russia's elite Rubicon drone group may redeploy to the Eastern Front, potentially shifting the balance of power again. However, Forbes reports that the Russians are trying to advance along several axes in the region, and Rubicon can't cover all of them, suggesting that it'll take more than one elite drone group to restore Russian momentum in Ukraine.